What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Round 11 podcast, the real Round 11 podcast. I'm not even sure if those other guys are making videos still, but anyways, we're gonna hop right into this now. We are on episode 10 of the Round 11 podcast. We're gonna be talking all things CDL Minnesota, and I almost said that quite Canadian, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And boys, how are you guys doing today?
I'm good. Quite the weekend of COD. Not gonna lie. It's a lot to talk about, and I'm excited to dive right into this. Zarin, how are you?
Thanks for asking, man. I appreciate that. No, I'm good. In all seriousness, yeah, I enjoyed the weekend, watched a lot of COD. That's how I spent my Friday, just sitting around doing nothing. Saturday didn't get to see a whole lot, but today I saw every match. So
yeah, it was definitely a very good weekend of COD. Lots of upsets this weekend, and I'm gonna quickly just. This is gonna be a longer episode for you guys who are just who are in here right now. So basically, this weekend was CDL Minnesota. We're gonna quickly recap on this one because we are basically a double episode this week. It's gonna be a longer episode, kind of like our old ones, because we have to do our power rankings for after this event and our predictions for next event as well. So all that will be happening today on the podcast. So basically, in Group A, making it out was FaZe and Dallas. I don't think that there were any surprises really from the Group A side of things. I'm just interested to know from you guys, who did you guys have taking the first matchup between FaZe and Empire? Because I had FaZe taking the first match between them.
Go ahead. Okay. So I actually had Empire taking the first match, and then FaZe coming back and beating them in the final. Because let's be honest here. Before the weekend started, we all thought, final FaZe Empire.
Yeah, that was my prediction was just the opposite of yours. I had FaZe coming out number one and Empire facing them coming through the bottom side of the bracket.
Yeah, I had it the opposite way around.
And I actually had Empire beating FaZe in the end. But Zarin, how did you have it?
I didn't do my bracket, but I had Dallas taking the whole event, and again, probably FaZe in the final. Maybe the Huntsman would have gotten there, but
so you thought Dallas was going to be FaZe twice, once in bracket, once in the final. Interesting. Yeah. So what ended up happening was Dallas did go up 2-0 on FaZe in their first matchup, and I'm pretty sure this was a matchup a lot of people wanted to see again. And FaZe actually did end up getting a reverse sweep. They got 2 in a row actually to start the weekend as they beat Seattle. Seattle kind of got iced by the CDL, unfortunately.
There's a lot of controversy.
But I still think FaZe would have won that match either way. So
I'm gonna disagree. I think Seattle had that one in the bag. FaZe looked rough this weekend in some points. Their hard point was pretty atrocious.
Yeah, their hard point was really bad this weekend. That's why probably what ended up costing them this weekend. In all honesty, their search and destroy looked really good still.
But just going back to that Seattle match against FaZe, that was tough for those of you who couldn't watch or missed it. Seattle took a 2-0 series lead, and then there was some technical difficulties on the stream, so the match was delayed 45 minutes after Seattle pretty much pummeled them in the first hard point. And I believe it was around 11 in game 2.
Yeah, it was a close game too.
Seattle.
I was like one of the first searches Seattle's won all year too.
Yes, Seattle was gonna win that series. I fully believe that. They had the momentum. They had everything going right for them, and of course, story of their season, getting iced by the stream, and Octane taking the Twitter, being quite honest, actually made a difference by complaining on Twitter. They said they're lowering the max, so if there's ever technical difficulties for streams for the CDL, the max wait time is 30 minutes before the match is either played off stream. Yet it'll still be recorded, but it would be played off stream if it goes over 30 minutes. So for the first time in a while,
that's a good change.
Listening to the players on Twitter.
Complaining on Twitter works.
Still a 30-minute wait, though, which wouldn't be ideal, but
it would not be good, but it's better than,
I mean,
completely
honestly, things happened. There was a mistake. You know what? There were some technical difficulties. There's not much that they can do about it. I think if you're a professional team, you should be able to rebound from that anyways and continue to play. So I think they're just being a bunch of little bitches in all honesty, and they need to just play it out and keep playing. Because they 100% could have won the domination and the hard point in that series, the second hard point in that series. So I don't know. They got destroyed in the dom because they came out flat after the break, and then the hard point was 100% winnable. So I don't know.
It's hard. You have all the momentum, you have everything going right, and all of a sudden there's a 45-minute delay. And you get cold. Yeah, they can play private matches, go online, whatever. But
it's just that different switch between them, between teams like that and other teams that could just still come out and just play lights out still. So it's a mentality thing. You have to be able to at this level. You have to be able to. There's, it's just an excuse at this point. It's just another one that they can use, in my opinion.
It's a damn good excuse, though.
I mean, it sucks. I'm not saying it doesn't suck. I'm saying, but like, it's just something that happens. I feel like you need to be able to rebound from that.
No.
Anyways, I'm gonna just move on.
No, wait. If it happens more than once, okay, yeah, you got to do that eventually. But you can't expect a team like Seattle going up against arguably the number one team in the world, and they're up 2-0 on them. Everything's going right. Seattle's a bottom 3 team doing this to a top.
I don't know. So this is where my point is. Seattle's a terrible domination team. FaZe was 100% going to win that domination anyways. And
say that.
I can say that. I can literally say that because Seattle's a terrible dom team.
Seattle like pretty much crushed them in the first hard point.
Seattle is a terrible dom team. I'm not talking about hard point.
So what? They could have won. They had the first 2 maps under their belt. They were 1 map away from beating the.
Wait.
Back to what the comms were like.
Yeah, I know. I was like waiting your fucking voice stop. That's hilarious. A great point of this is to look right at the Atlanta and Dallas match right after, because Atlanta plays Dallas, who's a better team than Seattle, and Dallas goes up 2-0 on them, and FaZe still makes the comeback against a better team.
So
it's very possible FaZe could have won that match still. That's what I'm saying.
It's possible. You're saying that they would have.
I'm saying I will say that they would have.
I was just saying that it's unlikely because Seattle had everything going right. I can't even imagine what the comms were like.
Oh, they were definitely so mad. I would have been mad too as a player. I'm just saying, it's a mistake. It happens. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. Atlanta definitely could have won that match still. They could have.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they weren't capable of doing it. All I'm saying is that Seattle got absolutely robbed, and that ruined their entire weekend.
Anyways, it's super unfortunate. It did ruin their whole weekend because they didn't rebound at all from it. They went and they played Minnesota after. They beat Minnesota, but then they got 3-0 smacked by Dallas after, which, I mean, you know what? It's kind of expected because, they're just not at the level of these other teams. And that's 100%. You guys can't disagree with that.
No, and again, I didn't say that. All I'm saying, you know what? They would have made it out of groups had that break not happened. That's just facts.
They would have played Empire there, and they probably would have gotten 3 or so smoked by Empire in qualifiers as opposed to in the knockout match.
Who knows? They just beat the best team in the game. Going in playing another really good team. Maybe
I will say one thing about Seattle. I wonder if they would have given Proto a chance with Karma on the roster, if Karma would still not be retired right now. But we will get into Karma's retirement a little bit later. Moving into Group B, the LA Gorillas beat Toronto in match 1. Lots of controversy going on the Toronto side of things going into this weekend. Bunch of bullshit, I think, not allowing Classic to scrim with the team because he's not in Toronto. Maybe it was in the contract that if you're not in Toronto, you can't play with the team or some BS like that. Apparently that's what it was, but I think that's stupid going into a major event, or I get because these are our majors now, right? So I think that's stupid going into a fucking major event, not playing with your actual team. So Toronto came out super flat. They only won 2 maps this weekend. I feel like if they have their actual practice, they look a lot better against LA. You guys have anything to say about that? That whole controversy?
I agree with you full 100%. I think that throughout the week, hearing that, especially when the news broke that Kleenex was subbing for Classic, that immediately throws off chemistry, as well as Classic doesn't get as many reps as he should have gotten with the squad running, say, for example, saying their plays they're doing throughout certain maps, certain modes. I think that's a kind of like a nail right in the chemistry, not in the chemistry, but in the teamwork of Ultra, and I think that's what kind of threw him this weekend.
I don't know, to be honest. I kind of understand Toronto's thinking, you're putting your team at a disadvantage. I'm not sure if what his connections like. Who knows? Maybe it's bad, it's terrible. It would just hurt the team because they're all there, right? So
for in case anybody didn't know, so he was just going to New York, which is literally in the same zone as Toronto is in.
Time zone, yep.
The same time zone, and they are literally an hour flight away from each other in terms of internet and stuff. So it's not very far. It's not like he's going to like Los Angeles. That I could understand. If he was going to like LA or something and having one person play on West, that would have torched all your practice completely. But like in that case, like I don't fully understand it. Obviously, we also don't even know what all the inside situation is, so I can't fully critique them on it. But it's frustrating as somebody who wants to see Toronto do well to not have the team practicing together.
It wasn't even that he left for a bad reason. It was because he wanted to go see his mother. Because he hasn't been able to see her because of the pandemic and because of everything going on. So like, I think that it's just the way it was handled. Like, agree. I think Toronto, as an organization, has handled it very poorly.
It was just a weird circumstance. Probably messed with them a little bit this weekend. Disappointing from them. I was disappointed. They should have come out. They should have beat the Gorillas. Unfortunately, Matt met up with Chicago in the elimination match. They were not expecting that.
Wait, sorry, what? I didn't hear what you said.
From where? From what point?
From when you said after they should have beat the Gorillas.
Oh, they should have beat the Gorillas, and they got met with Chicago.
Yeah.
Which they were not expecting. If they played Florida, who knows? Because Florida is still
they beat Florida last event that they played against.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. I mean, who knows where Toronto would have been? Maybe Florida doesn't win the event.
So yeah, so just so everybody's aware, so Florida beats LA. Florida beat Chicago 3-2 in their first matchup. So now Florida is now beaten Chicago with 3 different rosters, 3 events that they've played each other in a row. Then Mutineers do beat the Gorillas to make it out of bracket. And then the Gorillas actually 3-2 Chicago, which is embarrassing for Chicago. I think that's just an embarrassing loss. They definitely should have won that second hard point, and Chicago rotated very, very poorly from P1 to P5. I don't remember what map it was on, but P1 to P5 on the last set of rotations, and that's what cost them that hard point. And so they ended up going to Game 5, where LA handled them in the search and destroy, because LA is a much better search and destroy team than Chicago seems to be right now. And that set up our semifinals of Atlanta and Los Angeles actually also going to Game 5. Los Angeles looked a lot better this weekend, and FaZe took that 3-2 in Game 5, I believe, round 11. And
yes.
And Florida beat Dallas actually as well in Game 5. And that set up Florida versus
also around 11.
Yeah, and then that set up Florida versus FaZe, and Florida beat FaZe 3-1. I think the only map they dropped was the S&D. So Florida beats them in 3 straight respawns. FaZe's respawn looked abysmal this weekend, in my opinion. Except for their domination looked okay, but their hardpoint was terrible this whole weekend.
Yeah, I saw some stat that said that they were 0-4 on Game 1 Gunrunners.
Yeah, they lost every game.
So I don't understand why they play that map in the first map.
Yeah,
in the finals.
And that was their map. That was their map pick. Was map 1 in the grand final was Gunrunner Hardpoint, and they lost. So I don't understand that.
I mean, I think the only way I see them continue to pick is because besides this tournament, they've had success in it. I think they're just like their mindset's like, well, we can't lose 4 in a row of it. But
yeah,
we don't know.
That's a shitty attitude to have. You pick your best map for map 1, get the momentum, get that first win.
I feel like that's a terrible mindset to go.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Gunrunner their best map?
Well, no, their best map would be vetoed most likely by the other team, to be honest. But whatever their second best map would be,
probably Petro or Petro or Ramaz probably their best team maps,
But
also, I want to talk about Priest a little bit. He was not good at all the entire weekend. It was mentioned on stream multiple times.
You have a bad weekend sometimes.
Don't know what's wrong with him, but he was bad. He was in the grand final. I believe he was triple negative in both the hard points.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about too that he's playing that bad and they still got second place.
Yeah, like he was not good. And Major Maniac, I'm disappointed in him. He was not good in the grand final either. So that was a big reason why they lost.
They came out super flat in the grand finals for sure.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of touch on results. So because of or to touch on standings. So after this weekend, that puts Atlanta FaZe at number 1, Chicago number 2, Dallas number 3, and Florida up to number 4, really closing the gap in on them within point wise now. So those are your top 4 seeds right now going into champs. Do you guys think anything's going to happen with those top 4 really from this point on, or do you guys see anybody sneaking into that?
I think personally, I still see FaZe, and you said Chicago's number 2, correct?
Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah,
Chicago has an event in hand on the other 3 teams.
Yeah, so I can still see that all of them like Chicago and FaZe I can still see being number not necessarily 1 and 2, but I can still see them remaining in the top 4. There are some teams, lower end teams that nobody expected to really be in the top 4 that could jockey, and I'd say teams like that probably be my closest pick would be New York. But other than that, I don't really see anybody kind of pushing up there.
I don't know if I can see New York jumping into the top 4. I feel like they started too slow to get up there. Like how many? 100%. I think they only have 2 events left that they're actually playing at, or 3, so it'd be tough for sure.
Yeah, my team would be Minnesota. Of course, they've been struggling.
They would have to. They would have to rebound now.
The good news is for them is that they have a month off, so they'll be missing. They went back to back. Of really bad events. I think it was Saint, their coach, who tweeted out on Twitter that they need this month break, and I agree with him.
They're probably not going to play for 2 weeks, with each other. They probably need a good mental reset from scrimming and playing with each other.
Absolutely, yeah. They hop on Warzone, relax a little bit, and then a couple weeks before their first event back, get grinding, because this is a good team. I still think they're a top 4 team.
I think they could 100% sneak in and win champs.
Yeah, of course. That's a team that you look at to win champs. You look at the OGLA, you look at Minnesota as you're probably the sleeper teams to win it all. I think Minnesota will be back. I think they'll climb into that top 4. May even, if they're good enough, jump over one of the second or third seeded team. But they need a lot. They got a lot of work to do for sure.
They have a chance. They definitely looked rough this weekend again, though, unfortunately for them. But again, look at their pool, right? They had a tough pool, and they did beat Seattle, which was good. If they didn't beat Seattle, that would have been really bad for them. So kind of move on from the results. Karma retired this past week before the event. I know very sad times. The GOAT, the 3-time Karma 3 rings, has officially called it a career. Do you guys think that we will ever see Karma back on the sticks? That's the first thing I want to know.
I was literally about to say, I'm like, let's just hold the phone real quick and just say, let's put the card on the table. Is Karma?
Because he's kind of retired before, and then he came back when he got dropped the first time. And he missed competing a ton when he was off that little bit there. So
I think he's done. I don't think we'll ever see him. He's good. We'll see him on Twitch every day, but we'll never see him back up on main stage. I think he's done officially. I kind of half called it at the beginning of the year. We talked about Karma's future. I said, if he has a bad year or a really good year, he's going to retire. Like a really good year being winning champs and then going out on top. I did kind of guess he was probably hanging him up soon, but I did not expect it at this moment. Considering that they're right in the middle of the league.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for them too, or for him. He got put on a team this year that was, honestly, on paper, this team should have been very good, and they just weren't. And honestly, I kind of understand why he retired. I probably would have wanted to retire too if I was playing on the Seattle Surge this year. So it's understandable. And the more and more bad placings that he's getting, I feel like it's just hurting his legacy in a way. So it was time.
I think at the same time now, he's come in his career where he's like, I've accomplished all I can accomplish, and he's like, you look at it in a way as he now also has a family now. He's more a family, probably more of a family guy, and think of this future of maybe, instead of traveling here to play a tournament, maybe I want to spend some time with my child and my wife. So you kind of look at it that way. That's kind of the only way I don't see him returning. Like you said, I can probably see him, I would maybe see him returning if he misses it like he did before. But if he just wants to say, I'm going to relax, then I can see him just kind of being stay at home.
This is my thought on him completely on when I asked you guys if you think he's going to play again. I don't know if he's going to play competitive Call of Duty again. I definitely can see him competing in other games online though, because he's a gamer. He is good at other games too. So he's competed in battle royale tournaments and things like that before. So I can 100% see him doing that, especially if he finds a game that he really really enjoys to play and can pop off playing it. I 100% could see him playing other games. I think he's done with COD though. At least that's what it sounded like. He seems to be very just tired of Call of Duty. Like he said, he can't really play them after like a month after the game comes out. He's tired of them already.
He even put on Twitter. He said that the game wasn't built for him, and it's really not. It was the Treyarch games that he was really at his best. Even last year, he wasn't blow you away kind of guy, but definitely past his prime for sure.
He was still having way more fun last year running that grapple though, right? But
I mean, I don't expect to see him back though.
So definitely sad times there.
Sad times to see him go, but at the same time, thank you, Karma. Appreciate everything you've done for the Call of Duty community.
For sure. We here at Round 11 wish him the best in his future, for sure. Moving on. Wow. Moving on. The Los Angeles Guerrillas this week. We didn't really get to touch on this too much before Saints got picked up. We didn't really think it was going to do too much to their roster.
He was on the bench.
Well, he got benched. He's now back in the starting roster. Apparently, he self-benched himself originally too. That was what happened.
I did not hear that.
So when Akes got dropped, apparently he self-benched himself because he didn't want Akes to be dropped, and that's why he got benched originally. But now he's back. That's like from listening to the Hard Points podcast. That's what they said happened. So I'm going off of that. So if I'm wrong, do not yell at me in the comment section below. Go yell at Maven. So anyway, so moving on. They looked a lot better this weekend though. S&D, they were flawless until they lost 2 to FaZe in the grand final or in the semifinals. What are your overall thoughts on the Guerrillas this weekend?
I personally, and I know I said this to you many times, Jesse, like throughout the day of watching their games, but Vivid. He came out of nowhere this weekend. He dropped double-digit kills, and I don't know how many S&D. He was getting double kill after double kill after double kill in the S&D. And even like in the respawns, he was just where you needed him to be at the right times. And it felt like he started to kind of understand his role on this team and just kind of form himself into a better player. And I was just really liking his playstyle. Even Saints, I think Saints brought the slaying that the Guerrillas needed.
Yeah,
that's kind of
I talked about Vivid. I think the last time we talked about the Guerrillas, which is probably a few months back, because anytime they come up in our power rankings, we're just like, yeah, worst team in the league.
But Vivid's good. That's basically what we always say. We're like, Vivid looks good, but the rest of them, not so much. Blast even had a really good weekend this weekend too.
Yeah, when Vivid came in,
a solid weekend as well.
Yeah, when Vivid came in, I said this is a guy who's going to be a difference maker. And he's there to stay. He earned his spot, whereas Spart, on the other hand, did not. And I like the move bringing Saints back in. I still think there's a little piece missing on that team. I'm not quite sure what it is. They have a long, long way to go. Yes, they had a good weekend, but they are still a bottom 3 team. But Saints looking good, looking like his old self was definitely good to see. So
yeah. So I don't know if you guys saw or not, but this was another stat I was listening to when I was watching the podcast earlier this week from the Hard Points podcast. Was they were talking about how LA going into this weekend, their S&D from the previous weekend before, their S&D KDs, all of them were above a 1.2, and then you had Spart, who was at a 0.65 KD in S&D when the rest of your team is dropping 1.2s in S&D. He was definitely deserving of the drop. He got his chance. He did not perform. And honestly, I think Saints looked fantastic this weekend. Honestly, he definitely brought way more slaying power. I think he was running the main AR too. It was him or Aqua. It wasn't.
No. I think it was Aqua.
Yeah.
When I was watching it, he was always crouching around the map with MP5.
And Decimate, it was actually kind of shocking to not see him on the main AR because he's really known as a good AR for the most part. But he was running a sub and he was doing really well this weekend. So I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, I just wanted to read a stat. I saw earlier that somebody posted up the final KDs for the entire tournament, and Blast finished in the top 5 of everybody in the tournament.
Yeah, Blast had his best event for sure.
Yeah, he had a 1.17 KD throughout every game mode and every game in the tournament.
That's what getting to a semifinal for the first time for them as well.
Yeah.
So it was good on them. Way to finally show up in the league with this team, which was nice to see, to be honest. We'll see later on if they move up any of our power rankings at all. And then, of course, the biggest change of all, we kind of say, or I wouldn't say biggest change, but the most impactful change, I guess we could say, was Awakening coming in for Florida and Florida winning the whole event this week. And I was personally very shocked to see Florida win. I have them. No, I didn't think this change was going to do very much, but Awakening played great. What were his stats this weekend? He was like a 1.17 on the whole weekend or something like that.
He was Awakening finished in the eighth overall, 1.12. But can we just go back to also when the Awakening first got on the team? Hell, we didn't think it would be an impact. Zarin didn't even know who did mix up the names too.
Yeah,
he thought it was great. That's how unimpactful we thought it would be. But look at this. This is crazy.
I know, Zarin. I know you're not very big on Florida, so I want to get your opinion on how you think they played this weekend because they did look a lot better.
They look way better. I'm still not sold on these guys. They're so unbelievably frustrating and inconsistent.
Bro. They're so inconsistent. Like I shit on them so bad last podcast because I fully felt like that. And then watching them play this weekend, it made me feel completely like, holy shit, these guys are fucking good again. They are a team that like I can see them 100% going into this next like 3 events, finishing not even making semifinals or some shit like that, and then coming out and winning champs. Because they're just that inconsistent.
I want to also take in Skies finished the weekend with a 1.32 KD.
Yeah, he had an insane weekend.
He had a great weekend. And like when you have that plus Awakening, a rookie doing what he was doing, this team looks completely different. And I'm right with you, Jesse. We were shitting on these guys like there was nothing before. and they came out and just told us to shut up.
Yeah, Awakening was more impactful than I think anybody thought he was going to be.
He looked like I don't think I've seen somebody come out and have a debut like that since Simp. Like Simp's debut was nasty. Awakening came out and won his first event ever on a pro team.
And I just want to mention the post win reaction by Florida was the most underwhelming shit I've watched all weekend. Because as soon as they won in a very close hard point in map number 4, I think it was like a 13-point win.
They weren't even celebrating.
Oh my god, it was so boring. I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then Awakening winning his first ever pro events, just like,
yeah, good job, guys.
Yeah, it was like yo, fist bump.
I said this to Jesse in the post game interview. I was like, doesn't Frosty just look so happy to winning the tournament?
Speaking of, we were talking about the whole damn team. One, I still don't like fucking Havoc very much, but I mean,
how many times did Havoc kill Frosty?
Oh my god, Havoc killed Frosty so many times that one S&D. That was crazy. But I love Frosty. I've loved Frosty since Frosty played Halo for Opta Gaming. Like Frosty, I knew he was gonna come and be a good player in the CDL. I thought he was going to be good last year. He just wasn't on very good teams last year. It's crazy this year because he's not on a very good team this year still, I don't think. But they've won out and won 2 events now, so it's like you can't really even argue that. Like they're a good team. Every team is now like top team has won 2 events and they're up there. And they won the event with the best teams at the event. No, this isn't the best. No, this isn't the best that we've seen. Like Atlanta look. I feel like if this team played the Atlanta from 3 events ago, they're probably getting smacked. But it's just crazy.
Yeah, and just to kind of switch back to Seattle for just a second, Proto coming in for Karma. Proto's been around a long time. I remember him back in Advanced Warfare as an amateur. He's been an amateur pretty much his entire career. So it was nice to see him get his shot finally. And Seattle going up 2-0 against Atlanta, everyone's like, "Oh my God, Proto is the answer. Proto is the answer." He struggled. He struggled in the map 5 versus Troy. Probably a little bit of nerves and whatnot, but he played well.
He played really well this
when
whole
called
weekend.
upon. So big credit to him. He's probably not going to be taken out anytime soon. The thing I don't understand is how Pander still has a starting spot.
I don't think they have anybody to go with the damn spot. Because you heard the thing about their team not wanting to pick people up, right? I think that's part of the reason Karma retired too, was to open up cap space. I think I read that somewhere. So
they have no money. Seattle has no money, and they're not going to improve. And Pander does not belong on that team. He could fit possibly on different teams. Like Florida would have been a good fit.
But he's best friends with Octanes, Aaron. That's how he got his sub spot too.
My bad. Yeah. Octane, by the way,
you got to keep your best player
way,
happy. He had a very uneventful weekend too. This is his worst weekend.
Was he had an uneventful weekend, but he still finished with a 1.14,
which is still his worst. Which is crazy that's his worst event that he's had this year.
That's an uneventful event for Octane. It's a 1.14 KD.
He was great in the Atlanta series.
Did you see his
teammates around him?
Did you see his offer on one of the S&Ds this weekend?
No, I didn't.
I think it was 0-8 S&D. I believe it was in the Dallas search. He went 0-8, which is tough. Do you guys want to kind of move on to or like is there anything else that you guys want to say about any more roster changes?
No, I'll just kind of bring up. I don't know if you're going to throw it to it, but just to talk about challengers a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Team War won their, I believe, third straight EU challengers event. So that's 25 grand.
They're disgusting.
They are making bank. They would be better than some of these teams in the CDL if you were just to throw them in there.
I would love to see champs with them at it, but that's not happening.
Yeah. Singularity finishing second again. They were fourth, I believe, the last event and second this event. So we know they've won a couple times. Another really good team. Still don't understand the change that they made with Chain, but nonetheless.
Yeah, did you see the stuff that they were tweeting out earlier today? They had a thing ready. They had like a bunch of photo files ready for when they were for Twitter. They're like, if we beat Team War, if we lose to Team War, if we shit on Team War, it was like things like that. They're like, it's like the bring back Chain haters. It was good. Their social media team is top notch over at Singularity. I love them, but this is what I would love to see for next year if they're still with 12 teams. I know this is kind of going off topic. I would love to see them take for example, Team War has won every most of the European events, and Singularity has finished top 2 or won them as well. I think both of them have been 1 and 2 all year, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I would love to see them take the top 2 from Europe and the top 2 from NA from the challengers and put them at least 4 teams into the thing and just give them a chance. It'd be 16 teams or something like that at champs.
I see why they wouldn't do it this year just because of what happened with the pandemic and everything. But I can see them doing that in the future.
I don't understand how the pandemic has anything to do with it though.
Just because it's no, you can't go to LAN, can't go to LAN anymore. And I understand you can just say, oh, just do it online, but it's.
I mean, if they're gonna do champs online, I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like it just sucks for these players because a lot of them probably these teams definitely could compete at.
I brought it up before with the Overwatch League, how that works with the relegation and the graduation. Like you said, top 2 from each thing. Even take the top APAC team, bring them in, dude, and take the bottom 4 teams in relegation like they did back in Black Ops 3 as well, and do a play-in tournament.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see.
It would be cool.
Now,
you take 4 or 5 teams and bring them in.
Yeah,
see what happens.
It would be interesting for sure. Fuck, Toronto could put their own B team in.
Yeah, it's really. They just replace each other.
But they do that already.
So long ago, like Optic did with Optic Nation and Optic King.
So I actually did have a question before we jump into our power rankings and stuff for you guys. Do you guys think that you could see before we go into this event, because nothing's been announced or anything, so I don't really see it happening now. But do you guys think Optic is because those gunless to Optic rumors have been flooding around and then they've kind of died down now. So do you guys think this just isn't happening now, or are they just giving Chino one more event? What do you guys think is going on with that whole debacle?
I would go with the speculation of they're just going to give Chino one more event, just to see maybe things click better with Chino than they think would with gunless. Yeah, that's kind of where I sit with that.
Honestly, I said it a few weeks back. I don't understand the move if they do get gunless. I understand, but again, I don't. They saw success with Chino, so I expect them to run at least 1, maybe 2 more. If they suck, then I expect the change is going to happen then.
Right. Do you think they can win an event with Chino?
I think so.
If they're all popping off, you think?
Why not?
If they continue how they played the last 2 events, and I know I was hard on them, and I still kind of am, but if they don't really change much of anything, I think they can.
I I mean, fuck. What am I saying? Florida's won 2 events this year, so anybody can fucking win. Like, honestly, I don't. I take back my point. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, guys. I think now would be a pretty good time to hop into power rankings. Now we don't have. Oh, sorry. Do you want to say something, Zarin?
I just quickly mentioned the NA challengers, Team Vengeance, breaking their long drought of losing 2 best-of-5s in the grand finals. Atlanta FaZe Academy finally getting taken down in the NA scene. So
who's on
good on them? Stamino. God, I'd have to look up the roster.
Okay.
I'll mention that before we finish
Stamino's team, yeah.
Yes, Stamino has a curse on him, losing 2 best-of-5s in grand finals. So it's nice to see him win actually 2 best-of-5s from the loser bracket.
That's what they just need to come from loser bracket, bro.
Exactly. That's what it is.
They can't go through winners. That's it.
That easy.
Just like apparently Atlanta FaZe can't win a series unless they're going down unless they're going down go down 2-0. I saw somebody tweet out earlier. I'm not calling anybody out, but somebody tweeted out earlier. They're like, "Oh, do you think FaZe is just going to throw this next map so they can start down 0-2 again and come back and win?" I'm like, "No, are you fucking dumb? Like, what the hell?" Like
So, Mr. Gravity and Co. on the side of Atlanta FaZe Academy finally getting taken down in the NA scene.
They're a good team too.
Good. Nice little change.
Like that FaZe Academy team, they scrim against a lot of the pro teams because they're that good, and so
that's a team that can make some noise for sure in the CDL. But moving
on. So moving on to power rankings. Now we don't have Dexterdo's power rankings, so I was thinking we could go about it. I normally say my power rankings first anyways, so I'll just go through mine, and whatever team I say, you guys can just say where you guys have them, and we'll just do it kind of like how we do it with Dexterdo.
Yeah, and just to quickly mention, these are power rankings post Minnesota event and pre Paris event. So because it's for both.
It's only one. We're only doing one episode this week, guys. So we're doing this episode, and then we'll have another episode next weekend because we have back-to-back weekends of events. So there's no point in doing 2 episodes. So at the number 12 spot, I almost moved them up to number 11, but I still have them at number 12. I have the Seattle Surge moving down 1 to 12. I feel the Gorillas look good enough this weekend to move them above them. So the Seattle Surge I have at number 12 currently. Where do you guys have them sitting at?
I have Seattle at 11, and I have. Do you want me to say my number 12?
It's okay. You can just say your number 11 because we'll.
Yeah, I have Seattle sitting at number 11.
And Sarah?
Oh, okay.
I thought I was gonna list off the team. Yeah.
I have Seattle at number 10, not moving a spot. They're still better than. Well, I'll talk about it in a second, but Seattle looked a lot better actually. This was probably one of their best events of the year. Still not making it out of groups, but they looked like a team that could have possibly made some noise. Just falling short, but they stay at number 10 for me.
Yeah, they definitely looked better. Like I said, I almost moved them out. The team I almost put them above is the team I have them in 11th. I don't think I would have put them any higher than that, but I have in 11th. I have the Paris Legion. They look absolutely awful. Hopefully they get better again, but I don't think it's happening. Yeah. The team's caught up fast, and they are just continuing to fall down the train.
That's who I have at my number 12 is Paris Legion. Like you said, I just don't.
Kismet needs to start playing the way he was playing at the start of the year. That team is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I have Paris at 11 as well. Of course, we haven't seen them. I think the last 2 events, but they still the same old Paris Legion. So they stay at
I think by default Paris has just been dropping spots on my thing too. Like I dropped them to number 11, then they moved up, and now they moved back down. Coming in at number 10, I have the Toronto Ultra moving down a spot. From last week's. Toronto didn't play this week. Unfortunately, LA looked good enough that I was able to bump them above Toronto.
Toronto played this week.
I don't know what I'm saying, guys. Toronto looked terrible this weekend. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. Yeah. They played so bad I forgot they were there this weekend.
You have a point. You have a point.
But I have them at number 10. Where do you guys got Toronto at?
Yeah, I got Toronto slotted as well, and at number 10, like you said, they just did not have a good weekend at all. Could it be because of the whole Classic situation? Most likely is. Could it be something else? We don't know. So
Toronto was disappointing, but watching that first series against the Gorillas, they were down 5-2 into Game 5, and I was yelling, I was into it, I was getting hyped when Bance started shooting bodies when they went up 2-0, and then
oh god,
I actually love Bance on Toronto, man.
He's actually done so well with them too.
I've never been a big Bance fan until this year, but I fucking love Bance.
Yeah. But he started shooting bodies, and then the Gorillas won 5 straight rounds. Eventually Toronto brought it back to 5-5, and
this is why you never shoot bodies in S&D.
Exactly.
Listen, kids. Lesson of the day with Zarin: don't shoot bodies.
Yeah. Well, except I do all the time. But anyways,
our triggers get stuck. I don't shoot bodies; they just get stuck.
I have an old controller.
I got trigger stoppers. It's hard.
Ultra. It could have been a different weekend for them if they won that series. I fully believe that. They were disappointing, of course, getting absolutely smoked by. Was it Minnesota? No, Chicago. Sorry. They got smoked by Chicago, which ended their weekend. Again, unfortunate that they met them in that case.
That's the first time Chicago's fallen to losers too. This whole year. So
they would have preferred to play Florida, I'm sure, but Toronto just not their weekend. But for me, I still have them at number 9. It's not moving a spot from last time.
It's funny too because I feel like Florida, like if Florida doesn't win that first match against Optic, maybe they get no momentum, but just burn out against Toronto too. Like you never even know. Right, yeah. Like playing that first match, so it's just crazy. Like to think, like they lose that first match to Huntsman, they just fall to losers and loser. They could have been double bopped out and said they win the event. It's crazy to think about. Moving on to number 9, I have slotted in the LA Gorillas, moving up 3 in my power rankings from 12. I think they looked much better this weekend with this roster. I think they looked better than, like, I feel like they could have beat Seattle this weekend if they played Seattle. Paris, I feel like they definitely could have beaten, same with Toronto. That's why I moved them up above them. They looked like a team that could compete this week. They beat the Huntsman. Toronto couldn't even compete with the Huntsman. So, I don't know. That's just my thought process on it.
I have the Gorillas, like Zarin called it before the podcast, at number 5. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. I was about to backhand you. I was actually about to disconnect this call and start a new one with Aaron. Be like, all right, guys, Zach's not on the.
I have the Gorillas at number 9 as well, jumping up 3 spots. To your point, Jesse, like you said, they looked a lot better and they beat Huntsman. Toronto got slapped by Huntsman, and that's kind of like my reasoning of why I have them above. At the same time, I think this team actually does have some potential now. Excuse me, with Saints and Vivid playing the way that they are.
I have the Gorillas still at number 12. They were impressive, but I think it was total luck. They do it again. Okay, I'll consider moving you up.
Zaren's a hard one to move teams up, but moving them down, he's super like. Yeah. If he doesn't like them, they'll move down quick. But if he doesn't like them, to move them back up, they got to impress Zaren twice. Once they impress Zaren twice, that's when they move back up.
Gotta do it twice. The Gorillas, they did look really good, but you still see those little mistakes. I mean, they had 2 game 5, so obviously there's something going wrong. Yes, they played some good competition pretty well. I just don't think that they're anywhere near pretty much anybody else in the league. Still.
I don't think they're anywhere near the top 8 teams personally.
No, yeah,
but I feel like they could compete with the bottom 4.
Yeah,
I even think they could take Minnesota with how Minnesota's playing right now. I think
possibly. I mean, and like if they got to do it again, do it again. Gorilla's still the worst team in the league in my opinion, and they'll continue to stay at number 12 as long as they continue to get double first round.
This is what I want to say about Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota is one of those classic, like back in the day, like Rise Nation teams. Like they look like they're gonna win every S&D that they fucking play in, unless they're playing like a top team, and then they need to steal Respawn's to win series. And if that's the way they want to play, that's great. If they can continue to win their S&Ds, but I feel teams are eventually going to catch up in S&D, so that's why I'm calling it now. I moved them up, but I won't be surprised if I see teams catch up in S&D and then fall back down because teams watch tape in this league. It's not like before. So teams are going to catch up to your S&D, so you got to keep changing those strats really quick. Moving on to number 8, I got the Minnesota Rocker moving down a spot to number 8. Uneventful weekend again for them. They need this month off really bad, in my opinion. Hopefully they can bounce back and be at a good level, like a good competition level before champs. That's really what I'm hoping for at this point. If I'm a Minnesota fan, I'm not really looking for these guys to win these next couple events. I'm just hoping that they get better.
Yeah, well spoken. I have them in the exact same position at number 8. I think biggest takeaway I can get from them is when GodRX and assaulted the fist bump through cameras. I think that probably for me that's the biggest takeaway from them this week.
Yeah, I have Minnesota at number 6, dropping a spot from last week. They were disappointing again. Still think that they're a top 6 team, probably even a top 4 team, but 3 straight disappointing weekends. They need to get better.
I don't think you can have them at a top 4 right now. Not anymore.
Well, I don't know. They need to get better because we've seen how good they can be. I still think they're that good. They just got to fix a few things, and the month off is much needed. But right now, Minnesota staying at number 6, dropping its spot for me.
So coming in at number 7 for me, I have the London Royal Ravens, and I'll go last this time because I feel like I'm talking way too much about all these teams, so you guys can have a chance to come with some points. Because I feel like I always steal Zach's points. So Zach, go ahead and let me know where you got the Ravens at.
Exact same as you. I have them at number 7. I feel like our power rankings here, Jesse, up until maybe number 4 are going to be the exact same. But no, I have them just right above Minnesota. Like you said, last time we saw the Ravens, they had a really solid weekend, and we know how good of a team that they can be. And I think the addition, it was 0 that got added to the team, correct? If I'm not mistaken. I think that addition of 0 just proves that they can be a top team again. But like for me, like how Zarin is, I need to see them one more time have another successful run, and I think if they're able to do that, then obviously they will 100% be moving up my power rankings.
That's how I feel about them too. I only had to move them down because of a team that moved up quite a bit in my power rankings because unfortunately they won this event.
Who?
Zarin, how about you? Where do you got London sitting at right now?
I'm the exact same point as you, number 7, dropping a spot again. Default, Florida moving up, but. Don't have much to say about London. They look better with the addition of 0. We'll see where they stand this weekend. Looking forward to watching them play.
They didn't play, so it's kind of hard to. They just moved down because by association because Florida moved up, exactly. And coming in at number 6, it's another very similar to the reason London moved down. Optic Gaming moves down a spot to number 6 in my power rankings because Florida moves up because Florida fucking won the event, and it's hard to not put them as a top 4 team when you freaking win against the top 3 teams in the game. So I don't know. It's just gonna say Optic's at number 6. Where you guys got Optic at?
Like you said, Jesse, number 6 is for Optic. Number 6 as well on my list.
Zarin's got him at number 8 or something.
Exactly like you said.
That's my guess.
They had to move down in my opinion, move down just because of
because he's got
Florida moving up.
Zarek, can I guess yours? Because you got Minnesota at 6, you got Optic at 8.
I do have Optic at 8. Again, didn't play this weekend. Can't really. They default moved down. I did have them at 7, because they were better than Florida. But right now, with 0 event wins and 1 final. Yeah,
it's tough.
It's tough. I mean,
they're kind of in the same boat as London, right? They've looked a little better, so it's like, all right, like
it's all a we'll see thing, right?
Pretty much. Coming in, yeah, that is tough. Coming in at number 5 for me, I got the New York Subliners by association, moving down a spot to number 5 on my power rankings because we all know Florida won the event. So, boys, where you guys got New York at?
Jesse, guess where I have New York?
Number 5.
How did you know?
Because it's hard to have them any higher than that.
Exactly. You said my piece, basically.
It's the same guy who had Optic at number 4. So
no, I've had New York higher than Optic this entire time.
Who did you move up to number 4 a few weeks back that just pissed me off?
It was New York.
Had PLA.
It was New York.
No. He moved Optic to number 5 in that position because he moved him from 12 to 5th.
Oh yeah, that's fucking stupid. Anyways.
And then they proved me right afterwards by making another semifinal.
Yeah, so you dropped them down a spot.
The best part is
because this team. Never mind.
The best part. Oh no! Actually, I want you to get into it. Actually, have somebody else argue as Aaron for once, so it's not me. Anyways, the best part about that was you were cheesed at him for moving them to 5th, and I moved Optic up to 6th. You didn't say a word to me about it, but then when he moved him up to 5th, you were like, "Boy."
It's because he just likes attacking me. That's what it is.
No, you know what it is? Is that you're wrong, and I got to speak up when people are wrong. So,
all right.
Anyways, moving on.
All right, I'm gonna move on here. This one.
Okay.
I have New York at number 5, by the way. Again, dropping one spot because of Florida.
So this is gonna come to a surprise to everybody. I have Chicago at number 4.
What time is it and what day is it? Boys, mark it down in the record.
I have moved Chicago out of the top 3. This is the first time my top 3 have shifted from these 3 teams being in my top 3. I think Huntsmen are a very good team. I think Huntsmen have a chance to win every event that they are at. Huntsmen looked very, very bad this weekend in Respawn. I was watching them play scrims all week as well. They looked terrible in scrims in Respawn. Their S&D was pretty pitiful this weekend too. They need to get better. They will get better, I'm sure. Unfortunately, Florida has beat them 3 events in a row with 3 different rosters. In my books, Florida has beat them so many times now. Florida has to move above them in the power rankings. So, Chicago's at number 4.
Yeah, same with me. I have Huntsman at number 4, and you hit the nail on the head there, Jesse. Florida's beat them 3 times with 3 different rosters. If that doesn't speak volumes to how well of a team that Florida is now or plays against Huntsmen, I don't know what. So that's kind of my reasoning of why I have them above Huntsmen.
I'm not entirely disagreeing with you guys. Yes, Florida's beaten them the 3 times, and they have the 2 event wins. But I'm going to give you a reason why I have Chicago still at number 3 and Florida at number 4. Is the Florida's lowest at their lowest point is much, much worse than Chicago at their lowest, which was this weekend.
I agree.
Does that make sense to you?
This. It has to be hard for me. I'm a Chicago to move Chicago out of my top 3. So I'm sure you understand why I've done it. But you can argue both ways. I 100% agree with you.
You understand my point though. I would take a shitty Chicago team beating a shitty Florida team any day of the week.
I would. If you're an org owner and you had the option at the Chicago Huntsman team or at the Florida Mutineers team, you're taking the Chicago Huntsman team every single time. Yeah, but unfortunately, because they beat them so many times now, it's and because of how poor Chicago worked, it's a power rankings, right? So it's going by power rankings, Florida right now looked a little bit better than Chicago did.
I understand your point. I don't disagree fully. But yeah, Chicago number 3, and we touched on Florida.
Yeah, so I got Florida at number 3. Yep.
Yeah, I have Florida sitting at 3 as well.
Florida moved up 5 spots in my power rankings from last week to this week. So
it moved up 4.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Florida drops to number 5 or 6 again for me too, because they're just that inconsistent. But as of right now, they're a top 3 team, I guess. They fucking won another event. I said they weren't going to win another one this year, so what the hell do I know, right? So coming in at number 2, I have the Atlanta FaZe at number 2. Even though they made the grand finals this weekend, I thought they looked worse than Dallas. I thought Dallas should have won the first time they played. I feel like Dallas kind of choked that match. They did get reverse swept. Dallas also played Florida a lot tougher than I feel Atlanta did. So, I don't know. That's why I have Atlanta at number 2. Dallas at number 1. What about you guys?
Yeah, I have the opposite of you. FaZe first, then Empire second. Kind of my, I saw it as Dallas, when they faced off head-to-head, I kind of looked at that more than instead of looking at the Mutineer side when they both teams play Mutineers. I more really looked at the head-to-head, and what I saw was that when it came time to come clutch and finish it, Empire just wasn't able to against FaZe. And that was kind of my reasoning of why FaZe is a stronger team than Empire at the moment.
I mean, we can't really sit here and argue about who's number 1 team because it's one of the 2 teams. And I don't think we're gonna disagree with.
I could definitely argue his points for why he thinks Atlanta is better than Dallas, but
okay, well I'll hear you out in a second. But Dallas for me is number 1, FaZe number 2. Dallas needs to improve their hard points. They look very, very iffy at times in the respawns. Clayster and Crimsix did not have very good events. Shotzi was unfucking believable.
Shotzi has been unbelievable since he had 2 bad events at the start of the year, and everybody was saying he's trash. And this kid has been lights out ever since. He's so good.
Yeah.
Shotzi's stats as his KD was 1.23. He finished in the top 3 for the weekend.
Yeah, it was absurd how good he was this weekend. Dallas coming up short. I still think they're better than Atlanta. definitely better at search and destroy. As crazy as it is to say how good Atlanta is at search, Dallas is the best S&D team in the game, and they showed that again this weekend. Just need to fix that hard point. Was very iffy at times, and definitely Crim6 and Clayson need to step it up.
They need to, yeah, they definitely need to compete with the kids. Now, this is my argument to Zach on why Dallas is better than Atlanta. So, Dallas, I don't know if you've ever watched what Clayster and Crim6 both do to teams when they play them. When teams play each other in bracket play, they play them on different maps than what they're going to play them on in the finals. That's what happens a lot. So, the first two maps were most likely were Dallas's picks, and those are the maps that Dallas won. I feel like if they play them in the finals, they pick completely different maps and they beat Atlanta in the finals. That's why I had it that way as well. Okay. So that's my argument to you, because that's what we've seen Clayster's teams do over and over and over. Look at E United last year. They would play Optic in like groups, lose to Optic in groups, but then destroy them in winners finals all the time last year, right? So like it's just things that Clayster always does. He does things like that so he doesn't show his strong maps early in tournaments. It's just, and I feel like that's something that Rambo would do too. I don't think they want to show Atlanta what maps they're good at early in events, and so that's why I feel like they lost. And that was a super winnable series for them too. And I feel like it's super hard to put them above them, but just I don't know. I can see the argument for Atlanta being the number one team, but I just feel like nobody's better than Dallas right now, and I think Dallas just had a bad Sunday.
No,
in my
opinion, I can
see
your side. I'm not trying to say like I just see only Atlanta as number one. Like, honest to God, when it comes down to these two teams, for me personally, they're just so close, and it can take one little thing for me to see to be like, oh, I think this team's number one, or I think this team's number one. I agree with your argument completely that that Dallas could be number one.
Okay, can I ask you guys a question? So Dallas wins that round 11 against Florida. Dallas versus the phase that we saw today in the grand finals. Who wins that match?
Oh no, I would say Dallas 100%. If it's a phase we saw in the grand finals, Dallas 100%.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think Dallas is just the better team right now. I don't know. It's just personal opinion. Do you get what I'm saying, Zarin?
Yeah, no.
I know you have him as number one as well. I'm just saying that's where I'm currently sitting with that.
Yeah, and it was actually funny. We saw a little bit of a different Clayster this weekend. Not the big hype man that we're all used to. Actually, they switched to I forget what series it was. It might have been the first hard point against Atlanta. They switched to a listen in, and the first thing that Clayster said, and they were like crushing this team too. I forget which series it was, but they were crushing this team on Petrograd hardpoint. They jumped into a listen in, and Clayster was like, "All right, guys, like calm down, relax." Like not screaming like we're used to.
That's weird, actually.
It was really strange to.
I'm expecting some get shit on.
I know. There was
I think the veteran in him kind of came out there.
Yeah. Don't see that very often. It was a little bit weird, but still, they.
He's got the kids to hype him up now. He doesn't need to hype himself up anymore, eh?
Okay, if we're talking about weird things of Clayster, do we have to talk about Clayster's Love Shack?
Oh, I think we definitely need to touch on Clayster's Love Shack. That was
What was he doing?
It was
what was that?
It was a blowout map, and it was a masterful art design inside the A domination flag on.
I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Only reason was one of his sprays wasn't a heart.
Oh yeah, he messed up on one.
And
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It just ruined the whole room.
Not wrong.
Yeah, it was funny. Some nice bloopers from this weekend, and no Rich Campbell, so that was a nice surprise for this weekend. But
kind of fast forwarding. We are done our power rankings now. Kind of fast forwarding on because we are doing one episode this week towards next event. So CDL Paris. We aren't going to Paris. Thank God I don't got to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch matches. Boys, I don't know if you guys have the brackets pulled up for next weekend, but I think that we need to make some predictions here. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do brackets yet. They don't have that up yet, obviously. So I think our best way to do this is to pick two teams coming out of each bracket and then pick who we think will be in our semis, or come out of semis and then pick from there. So just looking at these brackets right now, so we have we have Paris, Florida, London, and Dallas in Group A. And then in Group B, we have New York, Optic, Atlanta, and Toronto. I'm interested to hear who you guys think is going to come out of the Group A. Sorry, my throat is being weird.
I think so. I one team, obviously, Dallas Empire. I can see them coming out of groups. I see them going through the winner's side. Now, the team I see coming through losers is the London Royal Ravens. And my reasoning just on that is when we look back to the weekend that the Royal Ravens had 2 weekends ago, or it was last weekend, I can't. It's all starting to just merge into one. Call of Duty is just too much COD right now, and I love it, and I absolutely love it. They were really strong with Zero, and I think if they have a performance like that again, where Wuskins is hitting his snipes like it's nothing, Zero's getting kills with his or like it's nothing, I can see them coming out on the loser side.
I have Dallas and London as well. London's going to lose the first series against Dallas, and they will come out of losers, and Dallas is going to move up into winners. Florida
depends what Florida we get.
I don't know, man. If it's normal Florida and not surprise every single person, Florida, then Florida doesn't stand a chance. I don't think they'll beat Paris, but they won't beat Dallas or London.
So your picks are Dallas and Florida coming out.
Dallas
and London,
seed.
Right?
Yeah, Dallas has the 1 seed, London has the 2 seed.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little different than you guys. I'm taking Dallas coming out first. I'm taking London coming out in losers. Or sorry, Florida coming out in losers. That's I think they'll ride this high at least for this event. I think it'll be. I think the break could hurt London coming out of. I feel like if they played again this last weekend, they probably would have been coming in on a super high from how well they played the weekend before. So I think the break could hurt them coming in here, especially with Florida playing as well as they played this last weekend. So I don't know. That's just my pick. I think Dallas number 1, Florida coming out number 2.
And the best possible scenario for Florida was this back-to-back weekend tournament. Like Paris being only 5 days away now, and rather than 10 or however many, 11. That's huge for Florida.
They have a big momentum ride. That's why I think they're going to come out. They might even come out number 1. They might be Dallas again and come out number 1.
I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I would not.
Screw it. Let's just say it. This weekend was surprises. Just throw Paris up there.
But yeah, so I got Dallas coming out 1 and Florida coming out 2. Group B, who you guys got? Zarin, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Hard to go against Atlanta FaZe coming out as the 1 seed. This is proving grounds for Toronto, Optic, and New York, all in the same group. Are we going to see the Toronto from a few weeks back? Are we going to see the New York from a few weeks back? Are we going to see the OGLA from a few weeks back?
Are we going to see the Atlanta from a few weeks back?
Yeah.
Are we going to see this Atlanta from Sunday?
like what? It's very confusing. I'm gonna have to go with New York coming out as a 2 seed. Okay. Although I think Toronto has an inside shot to beat OGLA in the first losers bracket match. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Atlanta as. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go Atlanta 1 seed, Toronto 2 seed, because they're gonna beat both
New York and Optic. Interesting. Yeah. All right, Zarin or Zach, who you got?
Okay. Now I have kind of 2 different scenarios in my head.
No. Pick 2 teams. Your 1 and your 2 seed.
Well, okay.
It's a prediction.
I got. If it's the Atlanta FaZe, obviously from 2 weeks ago, then I'm saying Atlanta FaZe 1 seed. I'm saying OGLA 2 seed, and that they're actually going to beat Ultra in the losers to advance.
So you think Subliners getting bopped out, double bopped out?
It hurts me to say because you both know how much.
That's just really surprising to hear you say, actually.
But just I feel like this Optic team is gonna make another high. Is gonna run another high.
So for me, I'm actually gonna do a hot change up here. This is a hot take, boys. I got Optic coming out at number 1. Optic coming out number 1. I got Atlanta coming out number 2. That's my hot take for Group B. I'm going with some bold predictions now, man, because I feel like this league's too unpredictable to keep predicting it fucking some next week. So I'm taking Optic coming out number 1, beating New York, and they're gonna ride that nice wave of beating New York, and they're gonna beat Atlanta. If Atlanta looks as bad as they look, if Atlanta looks better than they looked this weekend, but they don't got much time to practice before next. So I don't know. I feel like Atlanta looked beatable this weekend. If anybody could do it, this Optic team could definitely do it.
Sure, for sure.
So that would set up a. Who do you guys think is? We'll just call a winner out of your 4 teams. So who do you guys see taking the event?
As much as me being a FaZe fan, I'd like to see FaZe win. I actually think if this team comes out gunning like they were a couple weekends ago, I would go with the hot take of saying the Royal Ravens.
All right.
A hot take.
So you're calling Royal Ravens. All right, that's a.
I'm gonna call Royal Ravens.
Next year when we're doing this show, we're keeping track of we'll keep track of if we get our 2 teams out, and we'll keep track of the finals because I feel like that'd be a fun set for us to keep track of next year.
Hot take Royal Ravens.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, but I think Dallas is going to take this. And
Florida won this weekend.
I want to see Dallas to beat Atlanta in the final. I know it's not bold, it's just basic shit, but Dallas is the best team, Atlanta is the second best team, and they'll prove it this weekend again. Although,
do you want me to be
Toronto, I'm
Toronto's
not saying
not
they're
winning
going
the
to win,
event.
but assuming they make it out of groups, they make a semifinal.
If they make it out of groups, they have a chance to lose in semis.
But what if Florida comes out the 1 seed, right? Toronto can play with Florida. I 100% believe that. They can low key come out of the semifinal.
You love your analogies. Here's a good analogy for you, all right? Florida is like Play-Doh. You never know what you're fucking gonna make out of it, bro. That's literally what Florida is. You can take Florida and fucking squish it, and it's gonna be the fucking best team in the game, or they're gonna come out and look like a fucking bottom 6 team. Don't fucking know with that team.
Yeah, it'll be weird, but
that was a good analogy. That was a good analogy.
Speaking of which, my hot take: I'm taking Florida to win the event back to back, and become the top team in the game. That's my analogy.
What the fuck was that? That's just.
I don't know.
So far,
I don't know.
We got 2 hot takes.
I'm trying to be different. I'm taking Florida to win. I don't know. I don't know anymore, man. I did not hear what you said. You kind of cut out.
All I said was no shit. Oh my god, bro. That's ridiculous.
It's just the league is so weird. And I feel like if Florida rides the high that they have from this week, they could win next week.
Oh yeah,
right. I know you can't even argue it because it's who the fuck even knows, right?
Yeah, I don't see it happening, but you never
know. Jesse, if something happens this weekend, I hope it's one of our 2. Because
I don't think
London's
went with a hot take. I appreciate that you went with a hot take as well. I don't think London's there yet.
This was a hot, spicy take. That's what I went with.
That was the wrong take, but I think moving, if you want to do the guarantee and upset of the week.
Oh, for sure. Let's go on to that. I gotta think about mine. So go ahead, Zarin. Do you have anything?
Oh,
do a guarantee first.
I'll guarantee. I will say. Toronto will make it out of groups. Guarantee.
That's a hot take.
That's.
They
got a tough one.
So yeah, because you did say Atlanta, and Toronto, right, coming out. So yeah, that's a hot take.
Doable. It's doable. It's
doable. And if FaZe comes out top seed on the other side, fucking Toronto plays. Or sorry, if they come out and play Florida top seed, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's a real shot for them to make a grand final.
I feel
assuming that they don't play like they did this weekend. If they played like the past event,
they have a whole week to practice together again, right? So maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Zach, go ahead. Give me your guarantee.
My guarantee. I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna throw back to my first episode when I said I guarantee the Simp is gonna drop a 40 bomb, but I'm gonna change up the player. I guarantee that in an SND, or I'll say 2 SNDs, Dashy is going to drop 15 plus.
In 2 SNDs?
2 different SNDs. That is my guarantee.
My God,
that's a pretty, everybody's coming out of the left field with these predictions tonight. Even your Toronto prediction coming out, that's a tough group to come out of. So that's a left field prediction right there too.
I mean, those 2 S&Ds that you mentioned, Zach, those will be the only ones that Optic play this weekend. So I could see it happening. but they will not be playing
God.
anymore. I can promise you that.
If Optic gets to semis and if they for some reason make finals, I hope, because if they do, I'm gonna throw it back in your face so much.
Wait,
because you've hated on me so long for rooting on this Optic team.
So if Toronto makes it out of groups this weekend, because you don't think they're going to, will you shave your head this weekend, Zach? How bold are you on saying that they're not making it out? Because
himself now, huh?
He still owes me a fucking bald head.
I won't go bald.
I love Optic LA. Toronto sucks, dude.
I never said Toronto sucks.
No, but all of a sudden you throw the head shaving thing, and he's like, maybe.
I mean, hey, to be fair, to be fair, I wouldn't want to shave I'd think about it too. To be fair, but
yeah,
you talk about confidence. You talk about having confidence in this Optic team. Fucking prove it, right?
Okay, but at the same time, I never said I think Toronto's shit. So before you go throwing out things from left field,
oh, sorry, my bad. You just did this Optic team. This very questionable Optic team. And as soon as the pressure's on, you just can't make a decision because you're scared.
I mean, I called them coming out the one seed.
Confidence as you make it out to be, as you make it out.
Okay, like, yeah, then I'll do it.
Why you just bullied him into that?
Like,
no,
right,
he didn't bully me into anything.
He definitely just bullied you into that.
He's been a little wuss.
I'll say
we don't do name calling on the show unless it's an idiot. All right, because me and Aaron call each other idiots all the time. So you need to learn your place, Zach.
He was just scared.
No.
Okay.
What am I scared of? Zarin, look me in the eye and tell me what I'm scared of right now. Look me in the eye and tell me what I'm scared of.
You're scared that Optic isn't as good as you say they are.
Why would I be scared of
that? You're scared that New York isn't as good as they're scared they are. Or as good.
I know New York is as good as I say they are.
Really?
Yes.
But you said they're not making. But you said they're not coming out of the bracket, though.
Yeah, I don't like. This is what I'm saying.
The only thing I agree with you, but you're just contradicting yourself. I think New York's good too, but I don't think they're making it out this weekend.
Bro, I could rip you apart if I wanted to. I already have a little bit, but Toronto makes it out of groups. You're fucked, buddy. You're fucked. I will throw it back even harder in your face.
You're gonna throw it back. Can you make a TikTok of it or?
I don't know if I want to see Zarin throw it back.
I think I still need a guarantee, don't I?
Yes.
This is a hot take. My guarantee. I'm sticking with it. Optic Gaming's coming out the 1 seed out of Group B. That's my hot. That's a hot take, bro. I think that's a pretty. Yeah. I know I said it once, but I can't contradict what I've already said, so I'm going with that.
They're gonna have to be phased to do it. So we'll see.
Who knows? Maybe Toronto might send phase to losers in round 1. That'd be hilarious. Could you imagine?
Yeah, never know.
Bro, Chicago went into losers this weekend, so you really do never know.
True that. So, upset or disappointment? Which one is it?
It's kind of.
We agreed on.
We've kind of established.
We'll do an upset.
It's not the same thing. I don't know how many times I have to fucking say this.
It's similar. I think we'll do
it's not.
We'll do an upset. But
do I need to Google the two?
Actually, you know what? No. Let's do a disappointment. What do you guys think a disappointment for this weekend would be?
Okay.
Go. You go.
You have a disappointment, Zarin?
Disappointment.
If you want, I'll go first on this one.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So my disappointment this weekend is going to be actually the New York Subliners, because everybody thinks they're very good, and I think they're. Like, I had them as a top 4 team, and they're going to be my disappointment of the week this week, as they're not going to make it out of this group, which is a very get-out-of-bowl group for them, and I think it's going to be a disappointment they don't make it out of groups this weekend.
That's fair, yeah. I'm going to say Atlanta falls short again. I think... Well, actually, you know what? I don't know if that's so much a disappointment.
Who'd you call as your... Florida. Oh, yeah, you called Dallas winner, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say Subliners... don't make it out. Same as you, to be honest. I can't really pick anything else. That's pretty much.
I have another disappointment as well. I don't think Atlanta's making the grand final this weekend.
Oh yeah, well.
I think that's another disappointment too. So I'll give 2.
Okay.
Zach, what you got, Ho?
You stole both of mine.
My bad. Sorry.
Literally the second you said Atlanta not make grand finals, like, well, there it goes. It's out the window. Might as well just leave. Shit. That was gonna be mine.
My bad.
You know what? I'll add another guarantee. I'm gonna say Paris Legion don't win a single map this whole weekend.
I don't.
They're going 0-6 map count.
That's a bold.
Zarin,
I think it's a bold take to say that about anybody anymore in this league.
Last time I said that, Zarin, Toronto won. Okay.
Yeah. Zach said they weren't gonna win a map and they made it out of fucking pools.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Fuck. I think the last time a team didn't win a map was Florida. And then they came out and won this event now. So
Ridiculous.
Oh my god.
one change.
Oh god, Zarin said it now. This is where Paris comes in.
Yo, Paris is about to fucking win the event, bro. Watch. If Paris wins the event, I don't even know. I don't even know, bro. Like if that happened, it's not gonna happen. So like if that happened, oh my god.
If Toronto makes the grand finals, I'll buy an Ultra jersey. How about that? That's my ante on the Ultra making it to the finals. I would probably even do it for the semifinals, but I just gotta,
You are so on bro. You are so on Toronto's cock. You're buying a fucking jersey, anyways, yo. They called you a top tier fan the other day.
I know, right?
Yeah, you're done. You're done. You're done.
Yeah, I'm committed now.
It's the most interaction you've ever gotten on Twitter, bro. You're done. Yo, that's it.
Jesse, Jesse.
Oh, I'm just trolling.
This guy tweets fucking nonsense all the time. I'm just like, yeah.
Jesse, can I steal one of your optic jerseys so I can show Zarin?
No.
Oh my god, no.
Those are reserved.
Don't even get me started.
Those are reserved.
I got my black jersey, my black optic jersey, for wearing around.
That was nice. I like the black one.
I got you've seen the white one though too, right?
Yeah.
I've got the white one. The white one I'm getting signed by everybody. That's the plan with the white one, and then framing it. But I mean, it is what it is. I think if we've learned anything from the CDL these last couple of weeks, though, is anything really is possible when it comes to these events. This is the most competitive we've ever seen the league, and I actually have been fucking loving it. Honestly, it's crazy to think that my predictions got screwed out of the ass this weekend because I thought
9 points in the bracket for you.
Okay, bro, you got 7 the last time you did a bracket. So
I have one bad week.
I think you would have had a bad week this week too.
Oh,
you probably would have had Toronto coming out as well.
No, I would not have.
No?
No.
All right. Anyways, guys, I think that's about going to do it for us for today, unless you guys got anything you guys want to say. Definitely make sure you guys follow us on our social medias, at Cruise and Spaz, at Zarin Cod, at Benoit_Zach. And follow the Round 11 podcast as well. If you guys follow us on our individual Twitters and Twitches, me and Zarin are casting actually all the time now on my Twitch, so if you guys give us a follow there. I think Zarin does some solo casting on his Twitch as well. I don't do that shit. I can't cast by myself. But Zach ain't doing anything related to Call of Duty. He's playing fucking The Fractured Butthole.
I just stream any game, bro. It'll be Assassin's Creed. It'll be Fractured. It'll be anything. I'm down. I'll stream. I don't care.
But yeah, so just make sure you guys give us a follow there if you guys are enjoying the podcast. You guys have anything else you guys want to say before we head out today? No?
Okay. All right.
I love everyone.
I just want to mention before we wrap up, Get Busy, the AM team, who placed 4th the last Challengers event, dropped one of their players for Parasite, and they finished 4th in this event as well. So, not sure I understand.
I'm not getting into Parasite. I'm not getting into Parasite. It's done. The podcast. Shut it off. Shut it off.